Hello and welcome to another Ross weekly update of the ocean conditions using satellite sea surface temperature and chlorophyll imagery from April 22nd through 23rd, 2023. Overall, the Gulf Stream has been observed at 81 extending through the Florida Straits and then cools slightly to 80 and 79 as it extends past Cape Hatteras. Following the Gulf Stream north, we've observed some eddies circulating favorable blue water inshore. Working our way north, we can see some nice warmer blue water inshore and a filament of cooler blue water as well coming from the Gulf, with the generally warmer Gulf Stream core further offshore along 300 fathoms or so. Looking inshore along South Florida, we've observed relatively uniform temperatures. We'll take a quick look at the chlorophyll data as well to see if there are any smaller eddies in the area. They're generally easier to pick up with the chlorophyll data, but we can, however, see a relatively well-formed eddy here off of the Fort Pierce area, as well as the Cape Canaveral area. To the north, a relatively large eddy here off of the Jacksonville Fernandina Beach area, a smaller eddy here off of Savannah, a relatively large eddy forming here to the north off of the Charleston area, and then finally a relatively large eddy here off of the Cape Fear area extending down to Georgetown. From there, some nicer, warmer water extends into Onslow Bay and Raleigh Bay, but overall, relatively stable conditions here off of the Gulf Stream, or extending along the Gulf Stream. Looking quickly down at the Bahamas, we can see some warmer water certainly extending into the southern Bahamas, San Salvador, and Exuma Sound, working its way north, and then Gulf Stream associated water circulating into New Providence Channel, creating an overall counterclockwise rotation, which is relatively normal in the area. Let's jump over to the chlorophyll data and zoom in here a little bit. And again, we can see relatively stable, nice clean water inshore, a little bit more blended water, this filament here extending to the east, pushing the Gulf Stream further offshore here along 300 to 400 fathoms. Some small rotations here off of South Florida, indicating some good action, as well as a relatively well-formed eddy here, again off of the Stewart to Fort Pierce area, the Cape Canaveral area, to the north here off of the Jacksonville to Fernandina Beach area, the smaller eddy here off of Savannah. The Gulf Stream kicks out to the east here and has another eddy off of the Charleston area, and then the relatively large eddy here off of the Cape Fear to Georgetown area, circulating some nice water inshore. Again, generally there's some pretty good water that'll push into the bays here, but overall the Gulf Stream extends relatively uniformly to the northeast off of Cape Lookout and Cape Hatteras. Looking south quickly off of the Bahamas, again we can see this nice what we call Bahamas blue marlin water extending into Exuma Sound here, as well as north along Cat, northwest along Eleuthera. We can see a nice eddy formed through there. Some clouds in the area, but this is also some nice Bahamas blue water here, certainly off of northern Abaco, and then a relatively large eddy here off of Walkers. With that, for the most recent analysis for your area, you can order online at rofs.com. You can place an order by giving us a call at 321-723-5759 or drop us an email at fishing@rofs.com. Thank you very much. Tight lines.